So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back, of course. But listen, man, we back with some more scary stories. But tonight, we back with some animated scary stories, bro. Animated horror night type of night tonight. And it's been a minute since we did the whole animated horror type of style. So I got three joints for you today. Of course, three-piece, no biscuit style. We got True Strange Horror Stories animated. We got The Cake Horror Story animated. And we got three creepy true horror stories animated. All right, we're gonna get into all three of these videos. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, man, and check this compilation I'm putting together out. All right, shout outs to Wanna See Entertainment. Make sure y'all go subscribe to them and show them some love. Here we go.
This horrible incident happened when I was 15 years old.
Uh-oh.
I had a doctor's appointment to check up on my arm, as I had sprained it a few weeks before. I had to remove my bandages that day, so I was sitting in the waiting room waiting for my turn to see the doctor. Then I suddenly noticed a very tall guy in front of me. Maybe he was about 6'2". He had black hair and was a neat type with a clean-shaven face, and he was wearing a long black trench coat and baggy black tracksuit bottoms. It was obvious that he looked a bit odd, but I decided to ignore him as I was often easily paranoid to strangers. However, a strong smell instantly invaded my sense of smell when he just sat next to me. He smelled like he had something rotten hiding inside of his coat. It was so horrible to endure it, and eventually made me feel sick to my stomach. I instantly got up, rushed to the toilet, and then I ended up throwing up. After cleaning myself up, I went back to the waiting room, and luckily that man was gone. My doctor was waiting for me at that time, so I went to her office, and she got my bandages removed. I told her about the man that I saw just before, and she said she'd seen him before too. She thought there was something off about him, but she eventually didn't say anything. Of course, I couldn't blame her, so I just greeted after that and left the hospital. As I was coming out from the entrance and about to walk toward my home, I suddenly heard some heavy breathing in an alleyway next to the hospital. At first, I couldn't see clearly who it was because of the shadow, but soon after, I realized that he was the same man that I had seen in the waiting room. He didn't leave. What should I do? I was terrified. However, there was something strange about his motion, though. I looked more closely, and I could make out him biting on a severed arm. And that's when I realized that it was the source of the stench I smelled in the waiting room. I almost screamed, but held my breath as much as I could, and then ran down the road to call the police immediately. As soon as they arrived in about 5 to 6 minutes, they knocked him down on the ground to arrest him. I figured out later that he was finally indicted on charges of kidnap and murder of people. And because of that incident, I didn't go to the hospital and stayed at my home for a while. I wonder, what if I had screamed when I was there and he found me? Would I have been the next victim that he was chewing on? I think it was a good decision that I made at the time, and I'm just glad that I'm still alive.
Who kills people and walks around with their bodies? Who does that? Yo, this dude is in a doctor's office just chewing just randomly just chewing. Like he got a piece of candy or something. Chewing on an arm. And see, my brain, the way I'm wired, bro, now I start thinking that it's probably people out here that really does this type of stuff that exist. And we don't know them. I think that's the scariest part. Let's go to the next one, man. The Cake Horror Story. This is starting off pretty crazy, bro. A random dude just walking around, chewing and eating on body parts of people he's kidnapped. Huh.
This incident occurred when I just turned 12. It was a big day for me, Since we were going to throw my birthday party, everyone in my house was busy decorating inside. A lot of my friends and all my family members were supposed to come, so I was pretty excited at that moment. Later on, almost everyone had arrived, and I was waiting for two girls named Saya and Alania. They were twin sisters whom I just met a few days ago. We weren't actually that close to each other, but I thought they were nice and fun to hang out with. So I invited them the day I met them on the street, and they laughed and said that they would love to come. In fact, I didn't really think about them and forgot about those twin sisters soon, since I was enjoying the gifts I got. A few hours went by. I heard a loud knock on the door suddenly, and when I opened the door, the twin sisters, Saya and Alania, were standing there and smiling. "Come on in." I greeted them and tried to invite them inside. However, one of the girls said, "We weren't expecting this many guests." At first, what she told me seemed pretty odd, but I didn't think much of it because they were too shy and didn't like being around too many people. So I introduced them to everyone in the house. Everything was fine until that moment. Not long after, they came closer to me saying that they have my present. It was the cake they made. It looked like a normal cake, but smelled really bad. And it looked like it was rotting for a long time. No doubt I felt disgusted. But soon, I decided not to judge by its looks. So I eventually tried one bite. To my surprise, it tasted really good. I proceeded to eat more and more. But then, my eyes suddenly started to go blurry. The last thing I remembered were the twins' big creepy grin, and that I was dragged by them somewhere. Then I passed out. I don't know how much time went by, but when I woke up again, I was in a hospital. I could feel my whole body hurting, and my parents almost cried when they saw me wake up. I was confused and asked the nurse standing next to me what had happened. Then she told me that a lot of guests noticed that I was gone at certain points on that day. They were looking for me, and they eventually found me unconscious and beaten up terribly in our shed. My parents were shocked and immediately called the ambulance and the police. They asked everyone all kinds of questions, but then one of my friends noticed the twin girls were gone too. Eventually, they were found in my attic, hiding behind some big boxes. It was said that they were covered in blood and were smiling widely at the police. It turned out that the girls put the heart and the guts of a dead sheep, some small bones, and even thin, small needles in the cake I ate. And they also put lots of candies, chocolates, and some sweet things, so that's why I couldn't notice anything weird. It is said that the girls had escaped from juvenile a few days ago, exactly on the day I first met them. Fortunately, I didn't swallow any of the needles, but I had to suffer from food poisoning badly for a while. The doc told me I was very lucky to survive. To this day, I still wonder what would have happened to me that day if my family and friends hadn't found me in time.
That's real. That's real. And I had this same conversation with my sons, you know what I mean? Because they want to go over everybody's house. They want to eat everybody's food. They want to be friendly with everybody. They're like me, you know what I'm saying? They have like this innate nature just to be friends, befriend everybody, and just, you know, just be careless, carefree. And they're completely oblivious to the type of predators and different people that are out in this world. You know what I'm saying? So I be trying to have these talks because this stuff right here can actually go down. It can go down just like this, man. Them girls didn't care. They was trying to take her. They put all kind of stuff. And she just ate it. Just ate it. Not wanting to disappoint nobody. Yo, that is crazy. Oh, fam. I forgot. Shout out to Wanna See Entertainment, man. They 2 for 2 right now. Let's check out this third story. My roomie heard something.
This is my story.
I used to have a habit of grinding my teeth while sleeping.
Me too.
So I had a lot of arguments with my roommate about this. Of course, I felt sorry for him. So I was thinking about what to do. I finally found out that a mouthpiece would be a perfect solution. I told him in a loud voice, "You're not going to hear anything from today on." I put the mouthpiece in my mouth and then I laid down. However, he suddenly shook me not too long after. I slowly opened my eyes. The lights were turned on and my roommate was looking down at me with a blank stare. "What's the matter?" I asked. "Something's weird," said my friend. And what he said was that he suddenly heard loud teeth grinding sounds again while he was sleeping. But this time, it was bigger than usual, and it sounded more vivid in his ears. And he finally felt that he had reached the end of his patience. "I'm gonna have to kill that bastard." Literally, this is how he felt at that moment. Only thinking about that, he tried to find a knife and put it in my mouth. But it was too dark in the room, so he turned on the light to find it, and then the sound abruptly stopped. You know, when a person grinds his teeth or snores, it doesn't matter whether someone turns on the light or not. But when he turned the light on, the noise stopped, and when he came close to me, he found that I was sleeping quietly with the mouthpiece in. Then what did he hear? And the next thing my roommate says was, "It just gives me goosebumps. Hey, if I hadn't turned the lights on and found the knife, I think I would have killed you. You know? Pretty weird though, but I couldn't think of anything else."
And that's your roommate? Wait, what? Yo, whose roommate just nonchalantly said, "Yo, I would have killed you. I was searching for the knife. I cut the light on." That's your roommate. That's your roommate, bro.
I don't know where to begin. One night I was working part-time at a convenience store. There was a small warehouse inside where you could place orders and watch the CCTVs. It was so quiet that day that I just went inside and spent time just watching CCTVs. As you see, our convenience store makes a jingling sound whenever someone opens the door. But then I saw a boy on a CCTV. How is it possible? I didn't even hear the bell ringing. In a panic, I slowly looked out, but I couldn't see the boy outside the window. At first, it seemed like he was walking around in front of the snack bar, but he gradually came toward the warehouse where I was sitting. What the? I was terrified. What the heck is that? And then suddenly a man came inside, but I was already too scared to dare to go out. When he saw that there was no staff inside, he turned around and tried to go out again. But at that moment, I almost fainted when I saw his back. Riding on his back, the boy was staring at me. I was frozen on the spot. And after a moment, suddenly I heard a big car and tires squealing. He was hit by a car and died right away. Well, I still don't know what I saw that day.
Y'all would have told anybody. Y'all would have told anybody y'all saw that. I think that one had to ride to the grave with me, fam. Yeah, yep. Ain't no use of me getting locked up in a loony bin or anything like that. Nope. I'd have had to take that one to the grave. Maybe it would have kept me up at night. Some nights it'd have been hard to sleep, but it'd been a lot better than a padded room. You feel me? My grandmother's finger. This can't be good.
Let me tell you about my grandmother. Well, she doesn't have one finger on her hand. When my grandmother was pregnant with my uncle and aunt, she got her finger stuck in the cultivator's motor, and it got cut off. Also, there were a lot of bad things that happened that year, and she had a lot of people who died or were sick around her. My great-grandmother took my grandmother to a shaman's house at the time after finishing her finger treatment. Well, just as expected, as soon as they visited her, she told her about her bad luck and some other stuff. My grandmother was about to go back home because she thought it was literal nonsense. All of a sudden, the shaman stood up and yelled, "Where's your finger?" Her eyes turned white. "Oh, no! Why did you attach your finger on in that place?" My great-grandmother was surprised at the shaman shouting and asked the meaning. And then she answered like this: "That woman's fingers went in her stomach." Less than a month after leaving the shaman's house, my uncle and aunt were born. And when my grandmother saw her babies, she was horrified. Both of them were born with polydactylism, so they both had 6 toes each on one side.
What the?
Well, I still don't believe in ghosts or shaman stuff, but that story really gave me the creeps.
That's I don't know what that one threw me off right there. That one threw me off. The kids with grandmoms. Yeah, grandmoms. We'd have had a long distance type of relationship, grandma. I'm gonna just call you over the phone and check on you. Cause there's some weird vibe around you that caused you to have the kids like that. Now, nope. Nope. Listen, man. It's been a minute since we've been back on Wanna See Entertainment, and they didn't disappoint at all. They didn't disappoint with these stories at all, man. Y'all get at me in the comment section, though. Let me know what y'all think. And till the next horror night, I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.